I am the keynote speaker. And when I first started putting this presentation together, I thought that it would be very, very clever if I could figure out some way to say hello in regionalism for every one of the states of the people who are coming to WUSS from, okay? And so I started doing my research on the internet, and after a couple of minutes I thought, Michael, you make this way, way, way too hard. Why bother going through all that trouble when you can simply use the sign that every SAS programmer knows, the simple greeting? Why do that when all you have to do is this, right? So the SAS programmers in the audience recognize that sign, right? But I see a lot of the management and corporate types who are a little confused. Now, I know that you've seen that in the halls of your organizations, and you've probably seen it here at WUSS, okay? But maybe nobody has taken an opportunity to explain to you exactly what that is. That is, of course, the sign of the active semicolon. It's the sign, the signal that SAS users the world over use to identify one another at shopping centers and sporting events, at coffee clubs, and at cocktail parties, at job fairs and computer expos, and of course at speed dating and Star Trek conventions. So before we go any further, it's a sign of solidarity between management and SAS programmers, and from SAS programmers throughout all of the WUSS states. On the count of three, we're going to hit each other the sign of the active semicolon. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, I would like to start off, of course, first with a couple of thank yous. I'd like to thank the two conference chairs, Andrew and Nina, for inviting me to be a keynote speaker. I'd like to thank all of the many volunteers that have worked so hard and are going to continue to work hard to make WUSS 2018 such a big success. I'd like to thank the SAS Institute for their very generous support for the conference. And I'd like to thank my employer, WestStat, a leading contract research organization that's nestled in the pretty, green, well-manicured, overpriced, traffic-choked, pacing hot, humid suburbs of Washington, D.C. WUSS. Of course, nothing I say today reflects their opinions, policies, or procedures in any way, shape, or form. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for being here at the opening session. Well, it's not easy being a SAS programmer, but it doesn't seem that way right here, right now. Here we are, over 400 strong at WUSS 2018 in Sacramento, California. WUSS 2018 is a 3-day SAS test that aligns what we experience in our everyday lives. Practically everybody we're going to come across this week is a SAS programmer, a SAS user, a SAS supporter, or a SAS booster in some way, shape, or form. You're going to come across SAS programmers, programmer analysts who use SAS, systems analysts who use SAS, researchers who use SAS, statisticians who use SAS, managers of SAS programmers, SAS Institute personnel, and many, many more. All this week, the halls of this hotel are going to be alive and buzzing with excited people networking and talking about SAS software. Here at this conference, we're going to be talking about data steps and clock steps, hash objects, statistical procedures, SAS releases, SAS versions, and SAS hotfixes, the output delivery system, SAS macros, moving files between various operating systems, pulling various file types into SAS, SAS formats and SAS in formats, SAS functions and SAS call routines, SAS dataset options and SAS system options, SAS solutions and SAS analytics, SAS enterprise guide, SAS VIA, SAS cloud analytical services, and SAS statements, and more statements. And we're going to do this without ever having to explain ourselves, without ever feeling a little silly talking about the difference between a 32-bit and a 64-bit catalog, or whether it's better to use no do key or no do rec for a particular sort situation, or the best way of using the output delivery system to create production-ready output, and without ever having to answer that age-old question, what does SAS stand for? So for 3 days and for 3 nights, it's going to seem as if the entire world revolves around SAS. But we know better. We know that's not true. We know that things are very, very different in the outside world, the world outside of this conference. They are, in many ways, in very, very many ways, we're misunderstood. People at home do not understand what it is that we do for a living. The computer industry doesn't seem to know that SAS programmers exist. And we find it hard to keep up with all the products, releases, and features of SAS software. It's only at a conference like this that we put it all into context. There, in the outside world, the real world, we struggle to fit in, we struggle to find our voice, and we struggle to express that which is our passion and our expertise, SAS programming. But here we are, over 400 strong at WUSS 2018. It's not easy being a SAS programmer. People at home do not understand what it is that we do for a living. Even though it's something we're proud of, and even though it's something that sets us apart from the other programmers at work, we rarely tell people in everyday life that we're SAS programmers, right? I mean, what do you do what do you say when somebody asks you what you do for a living? You probably say, I'm a computer programmer, or I'm a programmer analyst, or I work with computers, or I'm in information technology. Not necessarily, not usually, I'm a SAS programmer. And when we do try to express that which we do as SAS programmers to people in everyday life, they look at us with blank stares, consternation, and sometimes light humor. For instance, guys who are married, if you were to go home after work and you're really pumped from your day of SAS programming, and you were to tell your wife, today I wrote a SAS program that opened a directory of newly cleaned SAS data sets. It accessed 2 large files and bulk loaded it into a database. And then I used ProcSQL to access that database and create a new table. She might say something like this, well, that's nice, dear. While we're waiting for dinner, open the dishwasher of newly cleaned dishes. Bulk load those into the kitchen cabinets. And then when you're done with that, use Proc Helpful to set the dining room table. Single women in the audience, if you're at dinner in a restaurant with your boyfriend, and he says, oh, so how was your day today? Do you say, work was great. I sorted a SAS data set with 10 million observations. I joined it to an Oracle table. I transposed the data. Then I used the output delivery system to create a PDF with graphs and charts and tables. The client loved it. I doubt it. He wouldn't understand, would he? More than likely he'd say, oh, it was a good day. Hey, would you like some of my salad? And I remember that for years and years before I wrote my very first book on SAS and sold them a copy at the author's discounted rate, of course, my parents were always asking me what the name was of the programming language that I was using. And I would say, Gmom or Gdad, it's only 3 letters, SAS. Why is that so hard to remember? And I remember that my father used to think that SAS stood for Special Air Services in the military. And my mother thought that it stood for San Antonio shoes, which apparently are all individually hand-stitched. And I had to tell that to many, many people over the years to know SAS does not stand for Shanghai American School. It doesn't stand for Scandinavian Service. It doesn't stand for Stability Augmentation System. It doesn't stand for Society of Astronomical Sciences. And it doesn't stand for Space Adaptation Syndrome. The SAS actually stands for Statistical Analysis System. And no, it doesn't even really stand for that. And no, I'm not a statistician just because I use SAS software. And I'll bet that your friends don't understand what it is that you do for a living either, do they? Okay, even long-time friends, you probably talk about what you do at work, but they just don't get it. Well, my friends sure don't. When I'm watching a football game with a group of my friends, things usually go something along these lines. After the first quarter, my attorney friend tells a joke about a lawyer, a doctor, and an accountant in a lifeboat in shark-infested waters. Everybody laughs. After the second quarter, my salesman friend tells the joke about the traveling salesman and the farmer with 7 daughters. Everybody laughs. After the third quarter, my therapist friend tells the joke about the geriatric couple that walks into a psychiatrist's office. Everybody laughs. After the fourth quarter, I'm ready. I read the greatest joke on a SAS lister, and I knew they're going to like it. They say, hey, guys, I've got one. Okay, so a ProcSQL query walks into a bar. It approaches 2 tables and says, may I join you? Nobody laughs. They just look at me with odd expressions and spill back into the kitchen for more wings, pizza, and beer. And what about television? They never ever mention SAS on television. Just about every TV show has a nerdy tech geek that can figure out anything by typing it into a computer and gets the answers, right? I mean, you think that somewhere along the line, one of them would have to be using SAS. Do you think that they're doing all of that sifting, sorting, searching, summarizing, and reporting on databases with millions and millions of records using Microsoft Access, using Excel, using Visual Basic? Well, they're not using R or S or Stata, and they're sure as heck are not using SPSS. It's got to be SAS, right? And it couldn't be anything other than SAS. And just once, I would like to see SAS featured on a major TV show. For example, take the old CBS hit, Person of Interest. In that TV show, billionaire computer geek Mr. Finch has created a supercomputer which can determine a person of interest who's either a perpetrator or going to be the victim of a crime in advance of when that crime happens. So he sends Special Agent Reese out to prevent that crime from happening. And I would love to have seen a scene where this happened. So, Reese calls Mr. Finch and says, I followed up on the latest Social Security number you sent and stopped the perpetrator just in time. But how did the machine know? And Mr. Finch says, well, fortunately, the machine uses nothing but SAS software. It uses SAS event stream processing to review billions of data points from security cameras. It runs sophisticated SAS macro programs that use SAS access software to read the Police National Computer, the NCI computer, the Interpol Criminal Information System, and the IRS database. It merges all of the data into Hadoop files stored in the cloud. It feeds the information to the SAS Visual Investigator and then uses SAS Visual Data Mining and Machine Learning. SAS Visual Forecasting is used to refine the predictions. Then I use SAS Avaya to interface with SAS Cloud Analytical Services to run models, which ultimately produce the Social Security number of the perpetrator. What's wrong? You did stop the perpetrator in time, didn't you? And Reese says, I caught him just in time, but... And Finch says, but what? What was his crime? Murder? Robbery? Terrorism? And Reese says, no, much more insidious. He was trying to sneak his recyclable bottles and cans in with his trash. Yeah, I guess we'll never see SAS on TV, will we? Well, it's not easy being a SAS programmer. The computer industry doesn't seem to know that SAS programmers exist. Trade magazines and on the web are full of articles about OLAP, ROLAP, POLAP, SAP, ODBC, RFID, and ETL, about mainframes, Windows, Unix, Linux, ZOS, OS390, cloud computing, the Internet of Things, but very few articles about SAS. And when there are articles about SAS, it's about SAS yet again winning another software award, or about how Dr. James Goodnight and John Saul built a $1 software company from the ground up. And those articles never ever seem to mention the phrase SAS programmer. The latest Computer World Salary Survey lists 25 different categories of programmers. But they list categories such as application developer, programmer analyst, web developer, software engineer, and senior systems analyst, but never one mention on that website of SAS programmer. The Bureau of Labor Statistics lists 15 categories under computer and mathematical occupations, but not one mention of SAS programmer in there anywhere. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are 4,261,461 IT programmer types in the United States. So, SAS programmers have got to be in there somewhere, right? We can likely determine that SAS programmers are not going to be in these categories: database administrators, actuaries, and mathematicians. SAS programmers are more likely to be in the 1.8 million people who fall into the following categories: computer programmers, computer systems analysts, software developers, applications, operations research analysts, and statisticians. So SAS programmers are probably in those categories. So what is it that you put down as your occupation? You're filling out an occupation box, and a loan application form, insurance claim form, or one of those other forms. If you put down computer programmer, then according to the BLS, you make about $87,500. The average for computer systems analysts is $92,700. For software developers and applications, $106,700 is the average. Operations researchers, $86,500. And statisticians, $89,000. Sound about right? Don't raise your hands. In doing my research, I could only find one website which actually talked about SAS programmer salaries. And it was on Indeed.com, and it was last updated on August 2nd. And it said that the average salary is $80,703. It also broke it out into several cities. We can see Los Angeles is doing pretty good at $114,840. Rockville, Maryland, which just happens to be where Westat, my organization, is located, $88,950. Piscataway, New Jersey, $73,209. King of Prussia, $73,966. And Princeton, New Jersey, $62,514. So maybe there's a reason why the computer industry doesn't really have a handle on SAS programmers. I mean, I think in a lot of ways we don't know ourselves. Did any of you start out to be a SAS programmer? Are you a SAS programmer or a programmer that uses SAS? A lot of us are accidental SAS programmers. I know that I am. 33 years ago, I started using SAS when the systems programmer in the organization that I was in quit, and I took over using the particular software system, which was SAS-based. And I think that a lot of us have probably had that kind of an entry into the world of SAS programming. We kind of backed into it. And maybe that's why the industry doesn't seem to have that great a handle on us. You know, there's a lot of mistrust and misunderstanding, actually, between SAS programmers and other types of programmers. And I don't know how many of you like advice columns. I love them. I mean, I really do enjoy reading advice columns. And I just read one recently in the paper which actually underscored the difference and misunderstanding between the different programmers. So if I can find it here, I think it was. Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right. So this is an advice column. Dear life coach, I'm a 29-year-old guy working as a SAS programmer in a medium-sized pharma organization. Recently, I met a wonderful woman who works as a .NET programmer in a large insurance firm. We started to date seriously, and now I am in a quandary. Last year, my father was arrested, tried, and convicted of embezzling $3 million from his investment firm. My mother ran off with one of my father's business partners, who left his wife and 3 small children. My younger brother is a member of a youth gang and has been in and out of jail on various offenses. My older sister's been married 4 times and now lives in a paramilitary compound in western Idaho. I want to be honest and open with my girlfriend about my life, but I don't want to scare her off. I feel that I should have a serious talk with her, but I'm reticent to reveal my dark secret. So my question to you is, should I tell her that I'm a SAS programmer? And yet, here we are, over 400 strong at WUSS 2018. It's not easy being a SAS programmer. We find it challenging to keep up with the many releases, products, and features of SAS. Now, when I first started using SAS many years ago, there were only about 4 products: Base, AF, FSP, Graph, and Stat. So it was relatively easy to keep up with it. Now, on support.sas.com, that page lists 24 different SAS Foundation products, each of which has its own products, its own options, its own features, its own idiosyncrasies. So much to learn, so much to know. It almost seems as if we live in a constant state of uneasiness, right? So we feel like we have a good mastery of base SAS, especially people who are just learning SAS. So we know base SAS, but now we have to learn SAS Access. All right, so we know base and access. Now we have to learn Connect. We learn base, access, and Connect, and now we have to learn SAS Graph. We learn SAS Graph, and then we have to learn SAS Share. Again, so many good products, so many good features to learn. SAS has its solution series, 14 major SAS solutions, including advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, cloud analytics, fraud and security intelligence, supply chain intelligence. So many good products, so many good features to learn. And then, of course, there are the SAS analytical products, which include SAS Contextual Analytics, SAS Enterprise Miner, SAS Forecast Server, SAS IML Studio, and more. So many good products, so many good features, so many good things to learn. And then we have the different releases of SAS. There's SAS 9.2, 9.3, 9.4 in the various flavors, TS1M4, TS1M5, the latest maintenance release. How many people know of an organization that's still using 9.2? I'm not saying it's your organization. Okay, just curious. And then, of course, there are all the different enhancements which are coming in with SAS. SAS Studio, Hadoop support, the DS2 programming language, JSON support, creating accessible HTML5 output using the output delivery system, and many, many more. So many good products, so many good features. And then we have SAS running in the various computing environments. In Unix environments, we have SAS running on AIX. We have it running on 3 different HP Unixes, 3 different versions of Linux, and 2 different versions of Solaris. It goes on. In Windows environments, we have SAS on our desktops in Windows 7, 8, and 10. We have it on Windows servers 2003 through 2016. And then we have, in mainframe environments, we have it running on ZOS and OS 390. There are maintenance releases and hotfixes for SAS for the various individual products, for the various versions of SAS, and then for the various operating systems. And we need all of this just to keep our SAS up to date and operating correctly. And then on top of that, you can get credentials for using SAS certification credentials. You can earn 3 different credentials for SAS Foundation tools. There's 4 for SAS Advanced Analytics, 3 for SAS BI Analytics, 3 for SAS Data Management, 1 for SAS Administration, and 6, count them 6, for SAS Partners. You know, the thing is, every once in a while, out there on the internet, especially like on the discussion groups on LinkedIn, I see a list of the top interview set questions for SAS programmers. Now, the thing is, I've been using SAS for 33 years, so I have my very own list of top interview questions. And I'm going to share them with you this afternoon, okay? Because some of you may be looking for a job in the near future, or some of you may be actually out there in the near future going to be interviewing candidates for jobs. Now, I know you old-timers and experienced people, you're going to know the answers to a lot of these, but maybe a couple of them might surprise you. Maybe you haven't come across them yet. First of my top interview questions is, what's more powerful, the drop statement or the keep statement? Oh, come on, it's easy. The drop statement is more powerful because it has gravity on its side. Which procedure do economists use the most, proc import or proc export? In the United States, there are far more imports than exports. Why is proc contents sometimes called the 411 procedure? Proc contents is sometimes called the 411 procedure because it gives you all the information you need on the files in a SAS data library. What is the results of running this program? We have a data null, input x dollar, x equals reverse of x, put x, data lines, and we're reading in SAS. Well, the answer is SAS.
Like a SAS.
Thank you. What SAS procedure rhymes with doormat? Format. Name the 2 geological do statements and explain the reason for their nicknames. Oh, come on, very easy. The do while statement is known as the stalactite do since it's evaluated at the top. The do until statement is known as the stalagmite do since it's evaluated at the bottom. Is the following statement true or false? You are required to apply for a federal explosive license, FEL, from the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to use Proc Explode in your SAS programs. Statement is false. Did everyone get that one? Is it better to have one big SAS data set or many smaller SAS data sets? The answer is obvious. It's better to have many smaller SAS data sets because it makes it look like you've done much more programming. Which of the following is not a regular expression? I'll be back. Hold my beer and watch this. R equals PRX parse, etc. A day late and $1 short. F name equals substring of full name from 1 to 15. The answer is E. Which SAS procedure best completes the following sentence? The tugboat helped the container ship enter the seaport. Which of the following is a valid type of SAS merge? Heaps to tons, countless to oodles, several to some, one to many, numerous to a handful. The answer is D. Who is the co-founder and chief executive officer of the SAS Institute? Johnny Goodtimes? Jacob Budenbach? Dr. James Goodnight? Benito Andrassi? Jamie Goldenboy? The correct answer is C. Which of the following prepositions occurs as a valid statement in the most SAS procedure? A preposition. Underneath, through, beyond, between, or by? By. Everyone got that one. The answer is E, by. Is the following statement true or false? If you code 5 or more of the same variables on both a drop and a keep statement, your program will catch fire upon execution. Unfortunately, because of it would be very amusing if that statement is false. Is the following statement true or false? The SAS display manager is a longtime SI employee who's responsible for supervising the setup of SAS Institute booths at conferences and trade shows. It's false. I'm sorry. Is the following statement true or false? When you need to fix a SAS program with a hard-to-find error, just put a % men at the It's false. Some of you didn't get that. Which of the following is true about the rank procedure? Very few people use it because of its strong odor. It's used almost exclusively by members of the U.S. Armed Forces. It's very popular with 50% of the rank and file. 50%. It computes ranks for one or more numerical variables across the observations in a SAS data set. All of the above? Of course, the answer is D. Which of the following statements is true? It's difficult to use to determine if proc mixed has executed successfully because it sends mixed messages. The plot procedure is hard to follow. The SAS log is basically a waste of time because it only prints bad news. You can code proc options without the one statement to keep your options open. The substring function works best when used on double precision numeric data. Well, the answer is D. And then finally, what does SAS stand for? Well, SAS actually stands for Statisticus Analysis Systemus, which, as any scholar can tell you, is actually Latin for SPSS. And yet here we are, over 400 strong at WUSS 2018. Okay. It's not easy being a SAS programmer. People at home don't understand what it is that we do for a living. The computer industry doesn't seem to know that SAS programmers exist. And we find it hard to keep up with all the products, releases, and versions of SAS. So what do? We create community with our own kind, community with other SAS programmers. So we gather together, we trade SAS programming tips around the water cooler, in a coffee break area, in the vending machine room, in a cafeteria, or just by dropping by somebody's office or cubicle. We access the internet and we read and we post to the discussion groups on support.sas.com. We read and we post to the SASL listserv. We read and we post to the SAS groups on LinkedIn. But that's not enough, is it? We want more SAS, more community. And where a community doesn't exist, we actually invent one. We create an in-house SAS user group in our own organization. For example, I run the West SAS user group, where about 30 people get together once a month for a 1-hour paper presentation and SAS discussion. Do you know that there are over 180 registered in-house SAS users group in the United States? But that's not enough. We create more SAS, more community. So what do? We create local SAS users groups so that people from a given geographic area can come together for a half half a day of SAS presentations and discussions. For example, I belong to the DC SAS Users Group, where people in the metropolitan Washington, D.C. area meet once a quarter for a half day of 2 or 3 SAS presentations and discussions. There are over 40 local SAS users groups in the United States. But again, that's not enough. We create more community, more SAS. So what do? We create regional SAS users groups. Regional SAS users groups so that SAS users from many, many different states can come together for through a 2 or 3 day conference. A regional SAS users group is kind of like a SAS sleepover in a lot of ways. There's discussions all day long, and there's presentations all day long, and the discussions well into the night. There are 4 regional SAS users groups. There's a Southeast SAS users group, Midwest SAS users group, South Central SAS users group, and then there's the Western users of SAS software, WUSS. 25 years ago, SAS users from Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, and Utah organized the very, very first WUSS conference. And it was in, I blanked on the name. How could I forget Santa Monica? I love Santa Monica. It was in Santa Monica, California, in the fall of 1993. Thank you, Mary. And that conference, there were Dr. James Goodnight was the keynote speaker at that conference, and 39 papers were given at that conference. Of course, it was a big success, so the next year, the conference was held in San Francisco. And here it's been done year after year. The WUSS community is reformed so that for 3 days and for 3 nights, we do nothing but eat, breathe, drink, sleep, and dream nothing but SAS software. And here we are, 25 years later, at WUSS 2018 in the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Sacramento, California, at the beginning of another 3-day SAS Fest. Well, while we're at WUSS, we feel like we're part of something that's bigger than just the job that we're at. And that's a feeling that you can't get at work or at home, that you're part of something big, that you're part of the SAS community. As we walk the halls of this conference, we're going to look at people's badges and their ribbons. And what do we see? We see speaker, invited speaker, section chair, session coordinator, first-time attendee, executive committee member, SAS employee. We look at what industry people are working at. We're working in utilities, we're working in pharmaceuticals, we're working at universities, we're working at the federal government and local governments, and many, many more types of organizations. And we look at where people are coming from. At WUSS, we're coming from Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, Utah, Washington, Wyoming, and even the far, far away traffic-choked suburbs of Washington, D.C. And we marvel at the many different ways that people are using SAS to solve their organization's data processing problems. So all week long, the halls of the Hyatt Regency Hotel are going to be alive and buzzing with excited people, networking and talking about SAS. Here at this conference, we're talking about data steps and product steps, hash objects, statistical procedures, SAS releases, SAS versions, and SAS hotfixes. We're talking about the output delivery system, SAS macro programming, SAS formats and SAS formats, SAS functions and SAS call routines, SAS data set options and SAS systems options, SAS solutions and SAS analytics, the SAS Enterprise Guide, the output delivery, SAS VIA, and SAS Cloud Analytical Services. And again, we're doing this without ever having to explain ourselves, without ever feeling a little silly about talking about the difference between a 32-bit and a 64-bit SAS catalog, or whether it's better to use the no-dupe key or no-dupe right option on a particular sort, or the best way of using the output delivery system to create production-ready output, without ever once having to answer that age-old question, what does SAS stand for? So for 3 days and for 3 nights, the entire world really is going to revolve around SAS. Because to us, a function isn't something that you attend, it's something that you use to transform data. To us, sequel is not the second movie in a trilogy, it's what goes after the word proc. To us, an ampersand at the beginning of a word is not a grammatical error, it's a SAS macro variable. To us, missing values is not a sign of moral decay, it's a sign of incomplete data. To us, January 1st, 1960 is the most important date in human history. And to us, SAS does not stand for Statistical Analysis System. It stands for that flexible software system that's responsible for each and every one of us having great careers in the field of information technology, no matter what they call us, no matter what industry we're in, no matter where we're from. No, it isn't easy being a SAS programmer, but I wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm sure that you wouldn't either. Thank you very much. Have a great conference.